for me, singing is that, telling a story. I'm telling my story, but my story is the story of all. Your story is the story of all because our story, we put them together. The same thing is at the center of it. So I don't pull this and that out.
Hello, and welcome to Transcending Boundaries. I'm Reeta Roy. Sometimes the music starts before you even hear it. A quiet beat builds somewhere deep inside. Your foot taps, your head moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, then the rhythm takes over. You're smiling, you're dancing. So is everyone around you. That is the power of great music. And today, I host a truly impressive musician. For over 40 years, she's been sharing her powerful voice with the world. Her music has captivated people globally. It's a blend of the sounds of West Africa, jazz, hip-hop, funk, salsa, and gospel. Sounds from every corner of the globe. She sings in 5 languages, and somehow every song feels like it's speaking directly to you. She's won 5 Grammy Awards. Time magazine named her one of the 100 most influential people in the world. In 2023, she received the Polar Music Prize, sometimes called the Nobel Prize of Music. But her impact goes far beyond her music. As a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, she's a tireless advocate for women's rights, education, and justice, especially for young girls across Africa. Her energy is electric. Her message is powerful. Her presence fills every room, and her work touches many lives and hearts. Today, I'm honored to welcome an icon, a change maker, a global star, Angélique Kidjo. Welcome to Transcending Boundaries. Thank you for making time to be part of Transcending Boundaries. We're going to just jump right into it. You grew up in Benin. Your mom and dad were also very musical, and they were really artists. Your mom was a theater director, and your father was also a musician. It was an amazing time in Benin and probably a household that was very busy. Would you tell us a little bit about your growing up and how that started to shape who you are?
My first experience of being in the right place was the space that I was given. And the fact that my parents encouraged my fearlessness. And I was number 7 out of 10 children. And my mom used to say that she was desperate to have another girl. And because they couldn't do any scan at that time, one of my auntie come and said to her, well, it's going to be a girl. And she would sing to the belly of my mother, right? And then my mother said, I was born to be a girl. And till I was 3, I didn't speak. I sang when I was asked the question.
You sang when you were asked
A question. And then they start getting worried. Say, is she going to be able to speak one day? And when I start speaking, they regret that I was singing before because I would not stop asking questions. I grew up in a household where there were a lot of people. And for me, it was normal. My 10 siblings, cousins, family at large, and people we don't even know will be there and have, when there's food, everybody was fed. And the thing that is really striking is to see the dedication of my mom and dad to education. Anyone that comes to that house, my father would say, are you going to school? When you say no, he's going to say, why? Do you have the money? You don't have the uniform? If I can provide, you have to go to school because I'm not going to allow anyone to sit in my house, destroying the brain, not nourishing the brain. And both of them have been really, in many ways, the foundation of who I am today, because they never tell me, shut up, ask the question. It's a transmission, oral transmission. But in it, there were the respect of myself, the respect of everybody else. And I've been taught to respect everybody in my time, in their time.
That's amazing. So, education, curiosity, keep asking questions.
All the time.
And I love the fact you said they just gave you that space to be who you are.
Yeah.
Now, something extraordinary happened when you were 6 because your mom put you on stage and you got to sing, like as you were already singing at home. So you got to sing. What was that experience like going on stage? Were you afraid or
Well,
what happened?
I should have shut up. Otherwise, I would not have been on stage, because my mom and the theater troupe that she had, that we rehearse home, right? And because I was such a curious child and asking questions all the time, my nickname is When, Why, How. And every day I ask questions. So when they started rehearsing, I know every part of it. The sung part, the talked part, everything. I was a sponge. So when they were doing rehearsal and somebody forgets something, I say, no, from the back, I say, no, that's not how you have to say it. And my mom is like, shut up. I'm like, yeah, but he's doing it right. He's doing it wrong. And then my mom's like, shh, she's gonna, and then there's a little girl in this theater troupe that will sing that beautiful song that the king like. And I'm like, Ma, why can't I be the girl singing the song? And she would tell me, because you're not playing the part. I said, what is playing the part? So she tried to explain to me, and I was like, grumpy all the time. Then one day, that girl had a malaria crisis. And then she couldn't be there. They tried everything. She couldn't stand. She was having too much fever. And every time my mom is doing that theater piece somewhere, my favorite place was to mingle to hide behind the costumes. She made all the costumes. She made all the masks where people playing another role, they'll put the mask. And I was just mesmerized by the fact that a human being can play so many different characters. And when you wear this costume, you become somebody else. When you wear this mask, you will become somebody else. And it just nourished my imagination. And of course, I would smell the makeup, the chalk. I was everywhere. And my mom is a one-man business on the thing. So she would put the costume based on the scene. I don't know what is scene. This costume look good. I just shuffle it into another place and smelling it. And then I was in the middle of it. And then somebody grabbed my ankle. It was my mom. She said, you want to go on stage, right? I said, yeah, but I'm here having fun. She goes, no, you're going on stage. I'm like, no, mom. Yeah, no, mom. I'm like, she said, yeah. By the time I was talking, she just put the costume on me, out, shoved me on stage. I was like, I was, for the first time, I realized I have bones in my body. She was just shaking. But luckily for me, light-wise, there's only one spotlight. So it was right on my face. I couldn't see anything around me. Everything was dark. And I'm like, oh, the public's not here yet. So I'm just gonna do as I do home. And I go, oh, yeah, this Sunday, oh, better me, and my mom I see my mom is going like, hmm. And then I finished the song, run out. She goes, no, look, the standing ovation, go back. I say, hell no. I ain't going back for no standing ovation. And I was like, hey. And then mom said, you have to go. I said, no, I can't. Then the next day I woke up, I said to my mom, it feels really good. Don't you think? Mama, you telling that to me now when I tell you to go take the standing ovation. And from that moment on, I think something happened without my knowledge, but I like it so much that I continue singing. I would sing with my brother's music group, and they were playing in a club that belongs to a friend of my dad. So at 9 years old, my mom did me that beautiful costume. She also sell fabric. So my father would wake me up, take me to sing, and wait to get me back. Because in that club, there were alcohol, there were prostitutes. It's a club where everything is there. So they would smuggle me through the kitchen. I would sing my 2 songs, and I get off. I go home.
Back to the kitchen and
Back
out the
to
door.
the kitchen, out the door. And I would go to school. I would tell my friends in school, you see this street that we walk on at night is like this. This woman sells this, and they're like, "Yeah, liar. Well, how do you know that?" But I couldn't tell them.
That you knew.
No, my father was taking me to class. That was not a good thing to say. So that's how I get into music step by step and seeing and feeling without being able to put words to it. The power of it, the power and the responsibility of it. And I've been told many, many times through from my family at large, you have the gift of song. It's not up for you to keep it, but for you to share it.
That's amazing. That's you got spirit. You mentioned singing in your brother's band. And I know just reading that Oscar, your brother Oscar, was very close to you. And was 11 years older than you when you started singing. What was that collaboration like?
Jesus.
And what did he teach you?
My brother was a perfectionist,
Wow.
and that is hard to deal with. Before you please him when it comes to music, oh man, you're gonna go through sweat and blood. That's how he is. And he always said to me, music is not just like you decide to do it. You have to know what you want to do with it, what it means to you, and how you cherish it. Because once you write that music, people are gonna listen. Your responsibility is to touch people beyond yourself. And when I start writing music, he will take his guitar and we put the chords on it for me to be able to have a chorus, a verse, a bridge, and build a song. And his perfectionism is very hard to live up to. And on top of that, I have my mom and my dad, my whole family. We all love music. My mom sings, played the clarinet. My father was a postman that played the banjo. And when I started singing and really having a career, my father will film me in Super 8 millimeter. And he will give me a week of, yeah, man, I just sang, man. Everything is cool, man. And then the week after, everybody's sitting down. Sit down and see what you do. So he will project it. The hardest moment that I've been through forever in my life. There's not such a critic in the world that can destabilize me as much as that one. Because people that love you will tell you the truth. And it's not only the song. When you're singing off key, they will tell you point blank. They will tell you this dress, uh-uh. That hairdo, uh-uh. Those shoes, uh-uh. It's just they strip you naked. For me to get better and to always question if I'm doing the right thing all the time. My brother passed away, Oscar passed away in 2018, and I've lost a great deal of support in the music and the music community at large. In Benin, not only, I met a young artist from Guinea in Ivory Coast, and he's like, no one gonna replace your brother because no matter where you come from, you come to his studio, he's gonna tell you, your song needs this, this, this. Can I help you? Let's do this. And he has passion for that. So Oscar was a pillar in my music life. And we even wrote a couple of songs together on some of my album. But I think his spirit still live in me because I'm the hardest critic for myself. And my husband is exactly like Oscar. He's the same freaking perfection. I lost one to have. I used to have two, now I have one left, but it's okay. I deal with it.
But Oscar clearly lives in you because everything he taught you. And I love that line. People who love you will tell you the truth.
All the time.
All the time. All the time. Now, let's just move along to a point in the life of Benin.
At 12 years old, my world was turned upside down. The home of my parents were a beacon of free speech and freedom. My father always used to say, everyone is welcome. Your skin color, I don't care. The language you speak, I don't care. We'll manage to find a way to communicate. In this home, there's no taboo subject, at the exceptions of racism, anti-Semitism, and xenophobia. And then I asked my dad why. And then he said, I don't have room for hatred. because hatred is a prison that you when you start hating somebody, you build a prison around yourself that you can never get out. So you can't see. The way you see the sun, your sun is always blurred. The way you see people is for your own precocious idea, and you never give a chance to anyone to prove to you wrong. And he said, I don't have room for that. 12 years old, the communist dictatorship, the military coup happens. And that safe space that my house was no longer safe. I remember my father coming back from work, being told to be careful because the government wanted him to be part of the government. And he said, I don't do politics. I don't want to be, I'm a postman and I want to be here. I don't want to have blood on my hand. I don't want nothing to do with politics. Then he came back and he said to us, now we have to be careful what we say. Anyone that walk in this house is a potential danger to us because we don't know who is going to be the one telling the government what you say and take it out of context and you end up in jail. So suddenly, from one day to the other, I was sitting home shaking every time the door opened, asking myself, if my friend in school, are they reliable? It's a disaster for your self-confidence and the way you see the world. But at one point, my mom and dad took me aside and said, you always can talk to us. The safe space we make is our room. You have anything to say, you can come and sit out of bed and talk to us. Then it gives me a little bit of comfort. But when you get out of the house, the stress of my mom when you leave is something that really is a trauma that I still live with. Because your loving parents, they want you to be free. They show us freedom. My mom and dad say, you gotta be free. You stand for what you do. You do right is you. You do wrong is you. I don't want guilt in this house. I don't want blame game in this house. Don't blame anybody for your mistakes. You stand for it, and your skin color don't matter if you succeed or if you fail. So this is what I was raised on. And suddenly the political landscape is trying to take that away from me. But my parents they stay strong. We don't talk on the phone anymore because you don't know if the phone is tapped. And I did my album, my first album. I took my student loans that was due to every student to do my album. I came to Paris and I have to ask authorization from the government. And you, in that authorization, the stamp they put in your passport, the day you leave and the day you're coming back is there, telling you don't come back, your member of family are your liability. So I went in 24 hours. One day I walked into the studio at 8 a.m. and finished around 2 o'clock in the morning, vocally exhausted. I couldn't finish. But I did enough for the album ready to come out. And with that album, I started touring in West Africa. My first concert was supposed to happen in Togo, and the biggest promoter in Benin, that was a friend of my father, pulled out 2 weeks before, telling my father, well, I can't invest on your daughter because she's too little. Nobody's going to see her on stage. And my father turned around and said to him, do you hear yourself speaking stupid? Who tell you that size have anything to do with talent? By then, my father just was retired. So his retirement money come every 3 months. So he called a family meeting and he said, I want to prove this guy wrong and I want to launch a career of my daughter. So if I get my retirement money, I will invest in it. He has no link with radio or TV. He knows nothing about doing a show. We grab all the posters. He will write. I still have some of those. He will write the date and I'll write the price. And we placate it everywhere. And I was supposed to play in Togo. Luckily, my sister was living in Togo. So we have to find a group in 2 weeks that will learn the whole repertoire. Because the musician that was supposed to play with me, they were linked to the promoter. So we find a group and I have to go there 2 weeks. And I did this show. And my father went to see the hall and said, this is what happened. I cannot pay the amount of money to reserve this. If you help me, I'll pay half of it. That's how my father launched my career. And then I was able, as a singer-songwriter in my country, to escape that ban of the music that we have to play. It was imposed upon us that first of all, the radio changes. No more music from the Western world. And it has been difficult also to keep some traditional song going on. And when you're an artist, you have to start your song and write in your song somehow. The fight continues. I mean, la lutte continue. Prêt pour la révolution, la lutte continue. I'm like, I'm not ready for no freaking revolution. I'm not fighting anybody, so I ain't gonna sing that. But one day it was obvious I couldn't escape it because the excuse of my parents that saying she's not here, she's in this country was not there. I was there. I mean, everybody was seeing me. There's no way I could escape this show. And it was the meeting of the West African country, the ECOWAS meeting, and all the leaders were there. So they set up the table in a way that they can be below to look under the dresses of women. And that's what the first thing when I walk on that stage, I'm like, I feel dirty. Those guys sitting there, they have the age of my dad, and they all laughing like Bacchus, man. It's just like crazy. And my mom and dad, they came with me, and they were on the wing of the stage. And I look at them, and my father go. So I sang, and when we left to come home, my father and my mother come in their room, and said, "Please be patient. We know you. We raised you as a free thinker and free speech person. We know the challenge that it's going to take on you. But give us 1 year. We're going to try the best to get you out of this country. We're going to speak to your brother. He's in Paris. If he has a place, you both can stay because we can't let you go alone and mind for yourself immediately." I say, okay. So it took them a year to put the money together to buy the plane ticket. And it happens that one of my cousins from my father's side was getting married. And she came home without knowing all this to ask my mom and dad to be the witness of her wedding. And they live not far from the airport. And my mom said, God have ways.
Yes.
Let's be hopeful. We're going to use this. Because everybody is watching our house. Your neighbor, everyone. Because it used to be such a place of freedom that people were waiting for us to just do something, then the whole thing gonna collapse. So my mom and dad have to talk to my cousin and her husband to keep them in the secret of it. So we make sure that everybody know that that wedding is gonna happen. The city hall marriage happened, the evening happened, and we're going to the dinner. And the evening comes. My father put his car in the garage, and I wear my evening gown and make sure the door was open. Everybody see me. Took a picture. My suitcase was all in the car of my dad. And I have a plastic bag in which I put my traveling clothes in it. So we went to the dinner. And the flight that still leave from Benin is 11:45 p.m. still function till today. So when my time come close to go, the deal was you going to the toilet. My father was in the car. My mom stays at the dining table. And my father drove me far from the airport. He drove me close enough for me to be able to push my suitcase all the way. And
Oh.
one of the things that really haunted me and that still breaks my heart, I've never seen my father cry, ever. And the last image of my dad was him weeping behind the wheel, telling me, am I doing the right thing? What if something happened and you disappear and I don't have any news? As a father, I'm sending you to what wilderness. I don't know what's going to happen. Something happened to you. I don't know how I'm going to live with myself. And I said to my dad, Dad, please let me go. There are signs you said, let's follow God's way. I'm going to be okay. I'm gonna be okay. If anything happened, even if I'm no longer on this earth, I will never blame you for anything. It's my choice to leave. So I get to the airport, check my luggage, and the customs, what the government does, every workplace, the dictator is from the northern part. We always have friction between the north and the south. So if you are the desk man, you have somebody from the north, somebody from the south. So the guy from the north is always spying on the southerner. So I walked to the custom, and it was the guy from the south, one of the guy that does music with my brothers. When he saw me, he knew. And he looked at me and said, "What are you trying to do? You don't have authorization, right?" I said, "No, I don't." He said, "My colleague just get out of here to go to the restroom. Run, disappear. Just run as fast as you can." And I ran, and I ran and grabbed all the stair and dived into the seat in the car, in the plane, and stayed there until the plane took off. It's a flight attendant that come and tapped me and said, "No, the flight is gone. What are you doing on the ground there?" I couldn't drink, I couldn't eat until we land, and I see my brother's face.
Wow. And what about mom and dad after you left?
But I
How
couldn't
did they manage?
I don't know. I mean, I couldn't speak to them for the first 6 years. 6 years. I didn't hear their voice for 6 years. And I mean, people think that leaving your home to exile somewhere is a pleasure. No one leave the home, the safety of your home, to go abroad. So the way we treat immigrant is absolutely appalling,
Yes.
because you lose so much trying to live a decent life. Every single human being on this planet deserves to live a dignified life in respect of his body integrity, his mind integrity. No one, absolutely no one, have the right to mistreat people that are looking for a better life. We are all here power. Each one of us, we have tremendous power. But if we live in fear, that power becomes our own liability, because that power wants to go out. And you keep it in because you're afraid. You create nothing. All you create is your own misery.
Absolutely. That's an incredible story about leaving. And I think about the deep, deep love of your mom and dad for you.
I know my parents, and I see the worries above me living. And one night I went to their room and I said, "Dad, Mom, what is the problem? I know you guys are running around, turning around like something is eating you, eating at you. Please, can you tell me what it is?" And they looked at me and they said, "You are a smart young girl, but your heart is big. And it's a liability where you're going. Because people might not see your kindness as what it is. They might see it as a weakness. What we fear is that out of despair, you might turn to prostitution or drug." I say, "Ma, Dad, not gonna happen. If it's too hard, I don't care, I'll come back here. And if I have to sweep the floor, whatever job is out there, you don't raise me to be lazy. So you know what? There's gonna be houses to clean. There's gonna be child to look after, babysitting. I can braid hair. I did all that. I cleaned hotel rooms, and I'm not ashamed of it for one bit, because I could put food on the table. My brother have jobs too. He was a student too. I could eat, and I could go to my school. Even if I don't have the money to buy fancy shoes, the same coat, I will wash it and wash it and wash it and take it. I was always clean. My mom said, "It's not the amount of money you spend on a clothes, it's how you wear it."
You were. You had plans to actually study law, right?
Yes.
And then something else, music, came along. Talk about that.
I mean, my sense of justice, I think I was born with it. And when I was little, every physical fight I was in is to protect somebody else. And my dad would always tell me, "Angélique, I didn't teach you violence in this house. Don't. Because when you start fighting physically, you have lost everything. There's no coming back. So use your brain.
Brain.
It's your ultimate weapon." I start saying to myself, how to brain can save me, my brain can guide me to make the right decision in everything I do. And how do I link my intellect to my heart, to my feelings, to make good decision with compassion, empathy, understanding, and building alliances. When I finished primary school, my first day in high school was hell. I was little. I was small. So there were two guys, and they were the terror of all girls that come to school. They have a stick, and they put the mirror at the end of it. When you walk in, they're gonna see what you wear under it.
Oh, dear.
And they will tell you, what are you doing here? You finished primary school is good enough for you. What are you doing here? Get married and that. And I was getting so frustrated. One day I came home and said, Dad, I want to beat this guy. I want to beat this guy so bad. Then he said to me, use your brain. Find something to say that they will not understand. And then they will think you crazy. And that's exactly what happened. That's how Batonga come about.
Oh, wow.
And law has something to do also with that moment. I decided when I was school, because when I get to secondary school, there were a lot of kids that were transferred from the north. Because of I don't know what the difference is. When the child comes in, they're like, oh, he's from the north, he's stupid because he's from the north. And I'll be fighting for everybody. I'm like, just stop saying that, he's stupid. Everybody, I'm just fighting for everybody, arguing with everybody. And I said to my dad, when I grow up, I'm going to be a human rights lawyer or a surgeon because I love helping people. And also when I get there, I realized for the first time what it means to be a child, to be married. Because all my girlfriends, we make plans. Some of us were in the same high school. We were like making plans. This is going to be doctor. You're going to do this. I was the only one that made it. All of them vanished from the face of the earth because they get married. And then when I arrived in France, it was too late for me to register in any law, but I went to a music school. I did 2 years of classical training. And I have two friends that was at the University of Viltaneuse, and they live on the campus. And they were studying law, both of them. They said, come. The school year have started already. Come to some classes. You have to see if it's really what you want to do. So every time I have the time, I'll go with them. And I remember one day, I like one teacher that teach penal law.
Uh-huh.
And I was fascinated to see how he talked about defense and accusation. How you are in the court when you have something and you in your guts, you know that the person is innocent, how you fight. And the law that you use, how you use the law. But sometimes he comes in and says, enough of the class. What do you want to do with law? Why are you here? That day, it happens to be me. Why are you here? What it means to be a lawyer? What do you want to do with it? And I looked at him and said, I want to be a human rights lawyer. He goes, wow, this is the first. Everybody's talking about business lawyer and this. You want to be a human rights lawyer? And I said, yes. And he said, why? I said, because I believe in justice. And then he said to me, you know that you have to study political science. I said, I don't do politics. And said, no, wait, let me explain to you. And he said, I will pose you a case. And if you were to be a human rights lawyer, how will you defend your client? I said, okay, who? And he said to me, there is a country that is in a hot seat because they made a huge mistake. It's the government's fault. But upright is so high and so dense that they need a scapegoat. They need somebody to blame, and they sacrifice one of the citizens to go to court. When he's saying that, I'm like this. How will you defend him? I said, first of all, I said to the guy, first of all, if it's the president, he's standing on my court. If it's the minister, he's standing on my court. I don't care who he is. I am standing no innocent in jail, ever. He said, you understand what I say? I said, I don't care. The state, the government exists because of us. They are not above the law. They wrote the law. They are the ones that keep the law in check. And they're going to break the law because they don't want to bring their butt here. Not going to work. ever.
What did
And
Professor
he
say?
said to me, well, I don't think you're
You're going to be a great
you're
life
gonna
lawyer.
be a good liar. It doesn't work like that. I said, you know what? I don't care. I ain't gonna be a lawyer anymore if that's the way. And he told me one thing that really stick with me. He said, one thing you have to understand is that law are written by human beings, and most of the time, law don't serve justice. I said, thank you, sir. You've nailed the coffin for me. I ain't coming back.
I'm not coming back.
And I left.
Wow. Wow. And so music became the form of advocacy for justice, for climate, for gender, for equality. So you said, bye-bye, Professor. I'm on a different path.
My court will be the world.
Wonderful.
Because I live with parents that taught me that even when you have little, you still can help. Even when you have nothing, but still thing you can do. And all above the thing that you said, they are all one for me. Because we cannot talk about human right law protection when there's not good education, good health, a society that is built on trust. Our voice is the mirror of our souls. We cannot do without those things because that's the way it is.
It also goes back to what Oscar said, that the role of the music and these words is to touch people beyond yourself. So very, very powerful, very powerful. Let's just take a little turn. Somewhere along the way, you met your life partner, Sean. Can you talk a little bit about that, how you met and how you fell in love?
I mean, we were both in the jazz school. It was my first year, I think, when I arrived. And the day I arrived to register, it's an old building, you know, they have corners. You go and take this stair, and the stair goes that way. I didn't know where to go. I was lost in between the stairs. And I saw two girls coming down the stair, a brunette and a blonde, and I asked them, where is the admission desk? And they said, what for? I said, I want to register in the school. And then they go, you're from Africa, right? I said, yes. And they said to me, you have nothing to do here. Jazz is not made for African people. I'm like, all right, just tell me where the admission center is. And I didn't know that the founder of the school was on the top of the stair and heard all of these things. So I went and registered, and then he came to apologize to me. I said, no, don't apologize. They are responsible for what they say. You create this school. You cannot apologize for every stupid person that comes to this school, right? But he said to me that day, he said to me, at the end of the year, there is a concert, and I know, I hear in your voice, you're going to nail them on the wall, and I'm going to provide you the musician you need, and you're going to show them how we do it.
And that was Sean.
So before that, then, June happened. June, we have something called Fête de la Musique. And I didn't have a band. It's the music. Everybody everywhere, in whole France, they put the music out on the street, they play. So I didn't have a band. And then he saw me and said, you're not playing? Why are you standing here? I said, I don't have a band. He said, come, I have a group of guys playing here. It was Jean and his friends, rehearsing. And then there's a cafe there. And they said, you go play there. We played, and then we continued, and the year passed by, and 2 years after, we started working together. And I remember vividly, we were playing. He would take his parents' car and put everybody in it. We play and we come back because we can't afford staying in hotel. And the thing that I realized that we laugh at everything. At the same time, we have the same thing. It's just, we just start clicking like that. And every time we're coming back, he said, one of you have to stay awake to keep me awake because everybody's tired here. And I'll be the one that keep him awake. Everybody else back there snoring. And then that's how we fell in love. And the passion that we have for music, we knew that there's nothing more important for both of us than music. So we fell in love. We're friends. And then we do music together. For the first 10 years of our wedding, he was my musical director, my husband, the father of my daughter, and she's the whole, I don't know how he managed to juggle all those hats on his head, but he did.
Now, how did Batonga begin? You talked about that schoolboy bully, and you said he had something to do back in your childhood about Batonga. But tell us about how you started it And what does Batonga mean?
That story I told you was the part of it that I left out to be able to talk to you about this. I grew up with one of my best girlfriends that lived across the street. I grew up in front of a mosque. Part of my mom's family, they are Muslims. So I do Christmas, I do Tabaski, I do it all. And I go to the Quranic school when summertime come, I have nothing to do. My father said, go there, learn something. Awawa and I, we were like this. Awawa was born with that kind of spirit of old people. She liked to be the mother of all, taking care of everybody. And she was also really smart at school. So we made plans that if whatever we do, we will keep in touch and then we will be there for each other. And then she never make it back to school. And I asked my father to go find out what happened. And my father said they sent her away to get married. I remember me screaming out of my head. Now I was so mad. I was so mad. I was sad the whole year. I lost my appetite. My parents was really worried about me because I feel powerless. I don't know where she was. I can't reach out to her because I know if I reach out to her, I can get her out of there. And it's that powerlessness, that anger, that thing that is in my belly that is screwing me up every day. And imagining the pain of Oahu in that situation. I mean, we were so close that my body will ache days in and day out. And then I said to myself, this is wrong. And my father also tell me, I'm sorry I couldn't help. Because if I've known before, I could have talked the parents out of it. Then I became a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador in 2002. And my first question then was, what does it entail? What does it mean? If I have to go around shaking politician hands, don't call me. Because I will shame you. I will say stuff you want to hear. And they said, no, what you want to do? I said, I want to do work with kids and women. It was the year that they signed primary education for all girls in Africa. So I started recording PSAs, radio, TV, many different languages. And my first trip with Carol Bellamy was in Tanzania. So here we are dealing with goiter. What it created, we find out is that the consumption of salt without iodine create that. So with UNICEF, they find a solution to buy tester for the women to test the salt, to buy it. Then we can, instead of doing surgery, we have to cut that on forever.
Yes.
And at one point, I have to go to an orphanage. It was the beginning of HIV and AIDS. I'm like, I walked in and my whole belly just like, I almost vomit. I'm like, no way. Kids having HIV AIDS, they would start their life on this food, knowing nothing about nothing. I could not accept it. And then it was a little boy that was, I don't know what he found in me, just grabbed my skirt. And I touched him. He was so hot. And he brought me to, I was crying. I was just crying and jumped. My husband, in that moment, said, Angélique, he can't do nothing to stop me. And he's feeling also so painful. And I sat down there. And as I was crying, the little boy said to me, we didn't bring you here to cry. We want you to sing. And I couldn't. So he went to the other kid. And they also do, Mutoto Kwanza, hoye, hoye, Mutoto. I'm like, and he came back. I wiped my tears fast. I'm like, what is that? What does it mean, Mutoto Kwanza? And he said it means children first.
Mutoto Kwanza.
And then he said to me, I have a message for you. I said, okay, I'm listening. He said, can you let the world know that children of this world have to be their priority wherever we are? And I wrote a song. That was my second visit. The third visit was with mothers. And we sat talking. And in that setting, a lot of things happened. I've done this so many times, and sometimes I get out of there, my heart is broken in pieces, but I put it back and walk on. And the mother started telling me, Angélique, we want you to be the role model for our girls. We don't want them to have the fate that we have. We don't want them to get married early. We follow your PSAs. We heard what you say. We are putting our girls to school, even if you have to fight the fathers. But you have to help us out here. Because once they finish primary education and they sit home, they're going to end up in early marriage like we do. What are we doing for secondary school? So I came back and I asked, what can we do? They say, it's not yet any, that's not the issue right now. I'm like, that doesn't answer my question. And people tell me, well, what do you bother, Angélique? Secondary school, you won't succeed. It's a failure because the rate of dropout is too high. And I look at them and say, you call them yourself expert. If it easy, why bother? Are you kidding me? You're gonna tell me that you can't do nothing? I gotta do this. So somebody introduced me to Marie-Louise Cohen and John Phillips. They are lawyers from Washington, D.C., and they have revived the law of whistleblowing. And every time they will win a case, they put the money in a fund called Opportunity Funds. So when we met in New York, they say, how can we help you? I say, I want to put girls in secondary school. And I don't want to be in cities. I want to walk the dirt road. The girl that no one cares about, I want to go there. And they say, how do you envision this? I said, what I want is that if we put those girls to school, it won't cost a thing to the parents. We have to provide 1 meal a day, the uniform, and the books. I want them to have mentors. I want them to be safe. And I want us to be able to reach out to parents, community leaders. If the government don't want to come in, I'm cool with it. But I want my kids to be able to go to school with no problem at all, and no teacher abuse. Otherwise, I'll come to the country, me, I'll just stir a whole storm up. So we started it in 5 countries: Benin, Mali, Cameroon, Ethiopia, and Sierra Leone. The first shock for me was the girl in Mali, in Kidal, that disappeared from the radar because of the terrorists that are right there. It gives me nightmare for months. We built a school in Waterloo, the second city, and we work with NGOs, local NGOs. From the get-go, for me, it was empower the community to take care of the girls.
Yes.
And in Abamage, in Ethiopia, we work with Mercy Corps. What we do there, because we try different things in different places, what we tried there was to give the scholarship that we give to the child to the mother as a loan, and the mother in return can pay the scholarship. We reinstall the parents' role in the parents' role, and that was a very successful one. To make a long story short, we started in 2006. And then, as an organization, we realized that some girls have fell off the crack. And then we decide we need another approach to be able to salvage the investment we've made in girls for them to have a future. So I started working with Population Council, and they had something called Girl Roster. You don't need to have online, but you have cell phone. You put that app on it, and you can map a community of 5,000 people a day. So that's how we start this new phase of Batonga, by asking the girl, what do you need? And it was absolutely mind-blowing, but I knew it in my core what they need, but I can't talk. For me, I don't talk for them. Their voice is stronger than my voice. I'm just there to be the person that's going to find people help me help you. That's all. They said they need safe spaces. So we started with Girls Club that evolved today to be business circle. We start from 16 till 20. Now we are from 8 till 40. The thing that is really important for me to bring about here is that when you empower people to see their own self as a leader, leadership is not just having a degree and being a minister or a doctor, whatever it is. Those young girls, they thought about what it is that they want. We owe ourselves, women
Absolutely.
that are in position of power, not only to talk, but to walk the talk and do it.
Yes. Angélique, for everything you have done and touched and succeeded, you have still stayed so grounded. Back to your values, back to what mom and dad imparted in you, what your brother taught you. How do you do that?
I didn't choose to be born in Africa. It happens because I don't know God's work. One thing I know is the benefits of being famous at the early age with a grounded family give me that groundness. They never allow me to be a, a prima donna home. Diva? My father said, I remember at 12 years old, I said to my dad, I'm making money. Why can't I leave alone? My father said, okay, take your stuff, go away. Go rent your house. I'm like, I don't mean it like that. I said, no, you ain't staying under my roof without going to school. And I said, but Dad, you're making money. Isn't that the point of going to school? My father does not say no. The point of going to school is to know that this world that you're living in is an ever-changing moment. What you see today might not be there tomorrow. But if you're not educated, how do you see the changes as an opportunity, not a threat to you? How can you still live open-minded if you don't take the world, the change in the world as opportunity for you to grab it to do something else? And I'm like, but they don't teach me in school. My first say, I don't care. I'm telling you. So as long as you're my daughter, you're under my roof, and I pay the school tuition, you go into school. And I don't want any artist in my house here. I don't want anybody to be stupid. And that, my mom used that against me. Like, my mom brought salad on the table. I'm like, I don't want to eat that salad. I'm not a rabbit. My mom said, you want to die stupid? Oh, I eat that salad quick. Because that's the idea of dying stupid is more painful than any disease in the world. So I stay grounded because why should you think that being famous give you any right
Yes.
to feel superior or to treat people bad? I don't do that. Every time I go to any place, concert place, I'm greeting everybody. The guy that sweep the floor have as much importance than me. Because if people that put all the stuff together don't put it together, I don't know how to plug the
concert.
amplifier. I can't do all of that. The concert is also a community.
Yes.
For me, communities are the core of my being. My father always used to say, when you embark in an endeavor, find people that think alike and that not think alike. For you to be successful, you need both. You need to surround yourself that have a vision close to yours, and how you do it is by trusting their ability to do it. You can't be a boss being there. You want to be a boss, don't have anybody and don't do it yourself. You don't know everything, you can't do it yourself. So I stay grounded because every concert is different. I never, ever walk in any stage and take that stage for granted till the concert is over, is not done. And the public that pays to come, they deserve you being naked spiritually, as my mom said. You gotta be open for people to be able to open their soul to you. My vocal doctor said to me, Ma'am Kidjo, can you give 75%? On stage, I said, Doctor, do you give 75% to your patient? He said, no. I said, why are you asking me that? Humility brings you to heights. Humility allowed you to question yourself all the time. For you to face what you've done wrong and apologize. My father said, you do something wrong, apologize.
Yes.
Otherwise, you live in guilt, and guilt's gonna kill you. It's a poison. So I don't do guilt. I don't.
Angélique, if you had one message, one more message to send to young people, especially young people, or moms and dads who are listening to you, what would that be?
What I would say is that we can't crush people's dreams. If you don't dream anymore, you're no longer a human being. As I say this, what are we proposing for the dreams to come to life? What I say to youth, today I see it, I feel it. The youth is impatient in Africa. It's a time-ticking bomb, and I don't want to blow. So I ask them to be patient, to work with us. And if we work together, they will tell us what we need to do. We'll bring the knowledge to them. We need a partnership with them. And I will tell them, listen, as you talk, Listen. Because by listening, the problem you're exposing, you see it differently and you see the solution differently. We need to give them respect. We always underestimated the youth to be part of the discussion. When we are making decisions about their future, they are not at the table of discussion. We can't continue doing that. And I want to tell the youth, I heard them. I've been on the footstep for so long because I asked questions and they talked to me. They trusted me. And I've been thinking about solutions for them. Be with us. Work with us. There are people in the world that are willing to help, to listen. Let's be these people and let them be our ambassadors. Let them be the next leaders that we nurture. And I want to see them succeed. I don't want a hands out for them. I want them to work hard to get it.
Amazing. Angélique, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your spirit, and also your life story about how you became Angélique. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. From a childhood in Benin, where the rhythms of traditional music shaped her early years, to the global stages where her voice has become a symbol of hope and empowerment. From a young girl singing in her native language to becoming one of the most celebrated multilingual artists on the global stage. From facing personal challenges to building a life dedicated to uplifting others. From Benin to the world stage, Angélique Kidjo's journey is a powerful narrative of passion, resilience, and unwavering commitment to making the world a better place. Her life and work are a true testament of the transformative power of music and advocacy. She continues to transcend boundaries, inspiring millions around the world.